Whole card predictions. Let's go. UFC 313 takes place this weekend. Let's do the predictions for the entire card. We're starting off with Djordan Santos versus Ozzy Diaz. Ozzy Diaz is a striker, but his chin is kind of questionable. Like, the guy can strike. He's decent at it as well, but the fact that he doesn't let his hands go, is kind of like conserved from time to time overall, in my opinion, is kind of worrisome, considering his pathway to victory would be on the feet. On the ground, I think Djordan Santos has a big advantage. His last name is Santos. He's from that part of the world. He has good jiu-jitsu. I am worried for Ozzy Diaz, not because I care about the fighter in any way, shape or form, but because I think on the feet, the fact that he's so hesitant. And listen, if he just goes out and blitzes Djordan Santos, he can catch him. He can definitely do that. His hands are definitely better. But I think he has to be careful for the takedowns. And I just see a better path for victory for Santos. He's going to be the pick. He's the person I'm going for the pick. Let's continue on. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Chris Gutierrez, in my opinion, he looks like Logan Paul's friend, Mike, if you look at his face close enough. But again, he's a technical striker. I do like his striking, but he got kind of exposed by Pedro Munoz. I understand that. I think he's probably the more technical striker of the two. But with that being said, I have gone with Chris Gutierrez for this fight, but I am kind of questioning how high level he is. Because for a second, we thought he was kind of like a ranked level fighter because he beat Frankie Edgar, or should I say the corpse of Frankie Edgar, with all of his bones sticking out and the blood drained from his body. He destroyed that guy in the first round, but against Pedro Munoz, he's kind of exposed. He's been destroyed by Song Yudong. Like, listen, he's not the top of the top 10 level fighter, but he is good. I do see him as a good striker, and I think John will probably be going for takedowns in this fight to get Gutierrez down. I haven't seen too many problems with Gutierrez's takedown defense, and for that reason, I'm going to go with him. I'm going to stick with him, but he's made me question it. I think John Castaneda is the kind of opponent that he can beat. I've gone with Chris Gutierrez. Moving on, Mairon Santos versus Francis Marshall. Mairon Santos, again the last name, you know, he's got some decent Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And the guy is a really good striker, all in all. In the feet, I do think he's far more explosive than Francis Marshall is. I like his striking far more. I think he's more not more technical, but I do think he's quicker to get to his shot than Francis Marshall is. Francis Marshall, more of a wrestler in his own right, can take him down, control him there, and that's his pathway to victory. But I'm just, in this specific scenario, liking Mairon Santos far more, in my opinion. I think on the feet, there's a massive gap in speed and just basically any physical attribute you can think of. And for that reason, I think Mairon Santos should be favored in this fight, and he's the person that I've gone with. Next up, Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. Carlos Leal coming off a robbery loss to Fretekanov. I can't pronounce his full name. Renat. There we go. Renat coming off a robbery loss to Renat, because that fight happened in the Middle East. And when you're in the Middle East, you will lose those fights, because guess what? Everyone in the Middle East is a fan of Middle Eastern fighters. And for that reason, I have decided... Oh, sorry. Just checking something. Anyway, back to this normalcy. Like I said, I think Carlos will win this fight. Listen, Alex Morono, decent wrestler. If he takes you down, he can keep you down. But I just don't see that happening. I just think Carlos Leal has shown to have some decent takedown defense, in my opinion, against Renat. I think on the feet he was really good, and I think he just destroys Alex Morono in this fight. Alex Morono has been chinned. I'm questioning his chin a little bit. I think he get knocked out on the feet, but I'm not really going to be that confident in Carlos Leal's striking. But Carlos Leal should be the lock of the card. I think he easily destroys Alex Morono, who is actually, you know what, it's not the lock of the card. Alex Morono is a pretty good fighter in his own right, but I have gone with Carlos Leal. Anyway, Bruno Ferreira versus Armen Petrosyan. Coming off of a loss, Armen Petrosyan, off of a spinning double back fist move that was invented by Shara Magomedov, knocks out Armen Petrosyan. He had a clear wrestling advantage in that fight. I'm not sure why he didn't use it. Made zero sense. Rigged, Middle Eastern. You know how it goes. Bruno Ferreira, on the other hand, in my opinion, a better striker. Gas problems. Against Abus, he gassed and then he got finished in the third round by submission. And that's Abus Magomedov, the guy known for just not having anything in the tank after the first round. And Bruno Ferreira gassed against him. So I think if he gets a win early on, that is probably the pathway he can knock out Armen Petrosyan. Armen Petrosyan, not really known for getting knocked out. Pretty good fighter. good wrestling. I've just gone with Bruno Pereira in this fight. He was the underdog. I can't lie and say that wasn't a factor here, but the fact that I've seen Armen Petrosyan not shoot a takedown is kind of concerning. I think Bruno Ferreira early on is quite dangerous, really good striker, far better striker, has knockout power. Armen Petrosyan has a chin that could take shots, but I think, and here's the problem, if Bruno Ferreira drops Armen Petrosyan probably doesn't go out cold. Bruno Ferreira will just expend so much energy trying to get the finish that I think he could get cooked in the second and third round. But hopefully that doesn't happen. The pick is Bruno Ferreira. The pick is Bruno Ferreira. That's going to be the pick for this fight. Next up, Joshua Van versus Rei Tsuruya. Rei Tsuruya made his debut in his last fight, has some pretty good wrestling overall in the regional scene. He was getting a lot of finishes from ground and pound and submissions on the ground. Great takedowns. A good fighter, Joshua Van. A fighter that has shown that he's actually quite good when it comes to wrestling takedowns, in all honesty, defense-wise. And on the feet, just a far better striker in my opinion. So another one of those fights that I just see the path with for Rei so clearly, but the fact that he's only had one fight in the UFC is making me go against him for Joshua Van, who I just think is the better and cleaner striker on the feet. I would... This is the fight that I would change my pick for, but I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to stick with Joshua Van, even though my confidence in this fight is kind of just... There's a lot of fights in this card, honestly, that I think can go either way, in terms of like strikers versus wrestlers. And I'm going with strikers more in this card, even though I don't like that. But that's just unproven, potentially, well, definitely worse on the feet. Shooting takedowns on repeat, having a one-dimensional game plan if it comes down to it, because Joshua Van can piece him up. I'm just going to go with Joshua Van, just because of the inexperience, I would say. Next up, Curtis Blaydes versus Rizvan Kuniev. Don't have a clue about this fat fuck on the right. No idea whatsoever. I'm just going to go with Curtis Blaydes, because he's just more in shape. I get it, he's got a bit of a gut on him. But for the most part, pure muscle. Decent striker on the feet, but I'm guessing he's just going to go for takedown, take this fatty down, and just control him there. That's usually the pathway for more fatties like Kuniev. They come into the UFC, take him down, they'll gas out, they have no gas tank, and by the second or third round they'll lose. And this is just based on nothing but the physique of Rizvan, and I just refuse to watch any of his fights. So I'm just going with Curtis Blaydes. It's part of a parlay. Curtis Blaydes and Mauricio Ruffy. We'll see. But I think this should be a pretty easy fight if the guy that Blaydes is fighting fights like how he looks. Next up, Bobby King versus Mauricio Ruffy. Never underestimate the power of an underdog Bobby King. He knocked out, what's his face? I'm blanking on his name, the wrestler in the division. Grant Dawson. He knocked him out in a fight he was massively underdogged in. I don't think that happens again though. Listen, 38 is 38 at the end of the day. The guy is slower and he was never at this extremely high level Bobby King, that you would just look at him and think to yourself, wow, he's still got the fundamentals, the grit, it's just like maybe sometimes he's taking a bit of damage, but no. Bobby King was never that high of a level, and I do think, listen, I don't think anyone's going to go for any wrestling in this fight. It's going to be a striking affair. I like the younger fighter, I like the quicker fighter, I like the fighter that's more fast-twitched. That's a very varied game. The guy that doesn't have his hands down, taunting his opponents, like Bobby King does. Against a really good striker that can play a factor and eventually get him killed, let's be honest here. I'm not looking at Bobby King's leg kicks and thinking they're anything special whatsoever. So just overall, just from the logical sense of it, I've gone with Mauricio Ruffy for this fight. And he is the second part of my leg multi, the two-leg multi, $125. Continuing on, Amanda Lemos versus Iasmin Lucindo. I'm going to say some words, and that would make you think that Iasmin Lucindo should be my pick. And in all honesty, another one of those fights that I would change in hindsight. Amanda Lemos is 37 years old. Immediately you're thinking, why have I picked Amanda Lemos? Well, I think she's just better on the feet. I think Iasmin has a big... She's just come to the UFC. She's a young gal. I can see her getting whooped up. With that being said, though, Iasmin is a gritty fighter, and she will throw down and put a pace on in the fight. She has the takedowns. She can go, maybe not as good as Lemos on the feet, but she definitely has the grappling to be able to finish her. And in all honesty, if you remember, Jessica Andrade did the same thing, standing arm triangle to Amanda Lemos, I believe. I'm just not trusting Amanda Lemos, but I've gone for the pick for her. I think it's just one of those cases whenever you see an underdog female, you pick them. And there's no much more than that, other than the fact that I think she can piece up Iasmin Lucindo on the feet. I'm not trusting Manuel Lemos' wrestling takedown defense at all. I'm just hoping Iasmin... Honestly, in hindsight, I would probably change my pick to Iasmin. Because everything I've just said just makes me think, like, why did I pick Manuel Lemos? I guess it's because she's the proven fighter. She's an age difference. But I'm not going to pick Grandma. I am officially in the middle of this video. Don't pay attention to the next slide. I'm changing my pick from Amanda Lemos to Iasmin Lucindo. Don't worry about this. That's Iasmin Lucindo. Right? That's Iasmin Lucindo. I don't want to hear it. That's Iasmin Lucindo. Next up, Jalin Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I cannot help myself from being a massive degenerate and betting on these absolutely garbage fights that are 50-50, but then I pick the underdog because you make more money out of it. And that's kind of my train of thought. I'll be completely honest with you. If you never told me the odds, I probably would have said Bahamondes, considering I did have him to win this fight and I remade this slide once I saw the odds. Very reliable I am. But listen, they're both big, they're both tall, they both... Honestly, I think Ignacio probably has a little bit better of a knockout chance. Like, he has no defense with his chin. Like, it's just hanging out there to be hit. I'm looking at Jalin Turner, not the highest fight IQ, not the kind of guy you're looking at and thinking to yourself, wow, well, this guy can, you know, break down an opponent and use his skill set to, like, dismantle them. He went for a striking war with Dan Hooker. It was a great fight to watch, don't get me wrong. But lost that fight, in my opinion. Then he loses to a Gamrot, who is not a striker, but sits on the feet with him and just circles around him. Ignacio will go, hey, throw caution to the wind in this fight for sure. But so would Jalin Turner, and I just don't like the coin flipness of this fight. But I have gone with Jalin Turner. I do like his submission game a little bit more than I like Bahamondes. I'm not expecting many takedowns, but I do like that part of Jalin Turner's game, and I do like the fact that he does have knockout power. He is quick, fast switch reflexes. Ignacio is as well, but Jalin Turner is a little bit more proven, and realistically, if he just follows through on Moicano, he gets the finish on him quite easily. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Jalin Turner, but if Ignacio mixes in the takedowns, like, I don't think Jalin Turner ever trains wrestling. He kind of just hopes that he catches them with a guillotine. Hopefully he can do that here again. But I probably think Ignacio's got it, man. Anyway, Jalin Turner is the pick. $125 on him. I'm an absolute degenerate. An absolute degenerate. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. I've made a video on this fight. It was met with incredible reception. Everybody loved it. Everyone was thinking, oh my god, really? What a great breakdown. And you know what? Even if I disagree, I'm going to respect your opinion and just like and subscribe to your video. That's a lie, obviously. I think Rafael Fiziev wins this fight because he won their last fight. Sure, by the end of the fight, Justin Gaethje had done more damage, but that damage took place in the 3rd round. A fight is judged individually, round by round by round. I have gone... And honestly, the first 2 rounds were close, but I thought Fiziev won those rounds. I thought it would be a split decision going his way. Turns out all 3 judges, so 2 of them, had it for Justin Gaethje and 1 had it as a draw after giving Justin Gaethje a 10-8 in the 3rd round. An absolutely rigged scorecard, if I've ever seen one. There was no way that was a 10-8 round. It was not that... It was dominant, but it wasn't that dominant on the feet. Whatever though, it wasn't like a Max Holloway, Calvin Kattar kind of round at all. But yeah, I think he's won the fight before. I think he's trained for Gaethje before. I think the fact that it's short notice won't affect him because of the factors that I've just said. I think the fact that Justin Gaethje is 36 years old is a factor. The fact that he's coming off of a knockout loss is a factor. The fact that he's coming off of a year-long layoff is a factor. And I think even though Rafael Fiziev is coming off an injury himself, he's been ready apparently, and he's been ready to go and just waiting for a fight to occur. And now the fight's occurring. And I think he'll be hungry for this fight. I don't think he's someone that's just like out there not training his cardio whatsoever. I think he'll have enough cardio for 3 rounds. For 5 rounds, I probably would have gone with Justin Gaethje. For 3 rounds, the fact this fight's happened, he's won before. And in the last fight, before Justin Gaethje dominated the 3rd round, he was knuckle deep inside the eyeball of Rafael Fiziev. And that was definitely a factor in that fight. So, you know, I'm hoping that an eye poke doesn't occur, which occur quite a fair bit in Justin Gaethje fights, if you watch them. So yeah, I'm just going to go, it's going to be a clean fight, and just based on that logic, I have gone with Rafael Fiziev. And he's the pick, $125. Sue me. Don't sue me. This channel's dying anyway. Anyway, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Another fight I made a video on. And it was again met with incredible reception. Like, everyone was so positive in that entire video. That's another lie I've just dropped your way. Obviously I've gone with Magomed Ankalaev. Otherwise, why would I get hate if I would for Alex Pereira? Magomed Ankalaev, I think the fact Alex Pereira hasn't been tested with his wrestling is a factor. I think the fact that Jan Blachowicz took him down and controlled him is a factor. I think the fact that Jan Blachowicz gassed out is a factor. I think the fact that Magomed Ankalaev destroys Jan Blachowicz with the wrestling is a factor. I think even though Alex Pereira has great leg kicks, the fact that Magomed Ankalaev was able to take Jan Blachowicz's leg kicks and still go at it is a factor. He won that fight 3 rounds to 2. Don't get me wrong, it was extremely close, but I thought it was clearly Ankalaev. Pereira Blachowicz, on the other hand, can go either way. I get it was 3 rounds, 4-5. Pereira probably knocks him out because he was so gassed. I get it, but that was in Utah. You can never take those fights with 100% accuracy because the altitude is just so different anywhere else. But here, I think Magomed has the grappling to control Pereira. I think he has the striking to go on the feet with Pereira and not get immediately knocked out. I think Magomed Ankalaev is being extremely underrated for no reason whatsoever. I get it, he's not like the rest of them. He doesn't immediately shoot down a takedown and then just submit you. On the feet, he's proven to be good. I know he got dropped against Thiago Santos. I know that. But he beat him on the feet. He beat Volkan Oezdemir on the feet. He beat Jan Blachowicz on the feet, I think, but whatever. That fight was rigged. Beat Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith got hurt. Whatever. Anthony Smith was going to lose that fight anyway. It's Anthony Smith. If you ever followed any fight of Anthony Smith, he's just, if he looks good, just give it time. Put some money on the other guy and just let him lose. If it's anyone that's good, actually, in the top 5, Anthony Smith will find a way. He has shown time and time again that he is quite good. He's knocked out Johnny Walker. I know it's no chin Walker, whatever, but he is on the feet with these fighters, striking with them a lot of the time, exclusively striking with them, and just threatening the takedowns here and there. And what happens? He's doing pretty well. He can set up his wrestling pretty well. He's a really good striker. But if it's on the feet, Pereira's just going to knock him out. No, that's not how fighting goes. He's trained specifically for Pereira to not just go out there and just get chinned in the first round. Magomed Ankalaev is going to beat Alex Pereira, cry me a river. Everyone's going to be sad about it. Everyone's going to be upset. But I'll let you know now. I told you so when he beats Alex Pereira. I told you. Anyway, that's the entire video. I've put money on Magomed Ankalaev, who was the underdog, but the fact it's pick and mods means some people are seeing the light. $105 on Magomed Ankalaev. Well, that's the entire video. Like, share, and subscribe. And definitely subscribe, because this channel really needs some subscribers right now. And I'll see you guys next time. 248, I would love to get 250 subscribers. If you're watching this video and you make some money off of it, because I'm putting my own money on this fight. That's right, my own money on these fights that I earn through a job to support a 248 subscribed channel. Subscribe to me, you goobers. I'll see you next time.